All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing Protector by Conn Iggulden. This is book number 2 in his... It's a novel of ancient Greece. Book number 1, Gates of Athens, also a novel of ancient Greece. I did read and review this one on the channel a few months ago, and then The Lion, book 3, a novel of ancient Greece. The series is not called Ancient Greece. The series is actually called, the trilogy is actually called the Athenian series. Athenen series, Athenian series. Now let's talk about the cover first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. I like this cover quite a bit. I love that painting. It's done by an artist named Dean Stolpman, I believe is how you pronounce that. Stolpman, Dean Stolpman. You did a great painting. On the inside, we've got pronunciation guides. We've got character lists. And we've got even a map here of Greece and the battle that takes place. And I Googled quite a bit of the things that were happening in this book, just different places and things that were mentioned. So, what is this about? Well, it follows on the heels of the Gates of Athens. Xerxes, king of Persia, after the Battle of Thermopylae, 50% of his army has been killed. Still, he's able to sack Athens because that's how many guys he has left. There's just a lot of dudes in his army, and they've sacked Athens. We open with the scene of Xerxes walking through Athens, walking through the city that he's conquered. His immortals, I guess you'd say the immortals, are with him along with his army of slaves. And we learned all about those people in this first book, but they're with him. You don't need to necessarily read book 1 to enjoy this one. I'll just say that right now. They're kind of two separate books. They just follow on the heels of each other, loosely. Historically, they follow on the heels of each other too. Anyway, Xerxes is a conqueror. He's going for Athens. He's going to take over all of Greece. And I don't know if I can pronounce this name right. Themistocles, Themistocles, Themistocles is a veteran soldier. He's lost Athens to Xerxes. He was outnumbered, way outnumbered. Now he's still alive, and some of his hardened soldiers are still alive, and they do what they can to save the city by stealth and sneakiness, especially at sea. They're good with ships and ship battles. And then it commences over a 3-long period of days. The greatest naval battle in ancient history will unfold before your eyes if you read this book. It's pretty cool. As we're going through this battle and as we're getting to know the characters, we get them discussing different things like the tyranny of Persia. Why is Persia coming in here? Why is Xerxes coming in here? What kind of government is he going to run once he takes over? Because they're afraid of losing the democracy that's in Athens. They want to keep that. They want to preserve that. That's why they fight. That's why they fight for everything. They're very hardened warriors. They're just getting run over. They're just outnumbered. And once that's over, it's not over. Once that 3-day-long battle is over, the war's not over. It's still going. And we get the Battle of Plataea. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that one right either. Because the Persians return to conquer once again. And the Spartans come into play. And for the Spartans, this Battle of Plataea is a chance to avenge their defeat at Thermopylae. Maybe some of you saw the movie 300. I don't know. It's kind of like all in that Troy 300-esque sort of, sword and sandals. It's what it is. The people of Athens and their very survival is once again at stake with these different wars that they have to fight. And that's kind of basically what this is about. A novel of ancient Greece. The Battle of Salamis. Persian King Xerxes stands over the smoking ruins of Athens with his army of slaves. He's come to destroy once and for all everything that the city stands for. He stares pitilessly out at the hapless population and outnumbered Greeks. And that's it. I mean, that's it. And then they fight that battle, and then a year later they fight the Persians in the other battle. I wanted to talk a little bit about Conn Iggulden's writing style. I find myself mistakenly trying to compare Conn Iggulden to like Bernard Cornwell or Stephen Pressfield, who I think write just lyrical and beautifully poetic prose. Conn Iggulden is a good writer. I would compare Conn Iggulden like to the Terry Brooks. Like if you're into fantasy and you've read like Robert Jordan and George R.R. Martin and Steven Erikson, I mean, the prose is lofty. And then you read Terry Brooks and you're like, okay, these are good, great books. It's a little more, the prose is a little more stripped down. I kind of get that feeling with Conn Iggulden after reading a handful of his books that the books are great and they're gripping. The prose is it gets the job done, I mean, it gets the job done. And I was literally trying to find, this is where I'm going to redeem myself here. I was trying to read carefully and just find the beauty and the poetry and the prose that I was finding in Bernard Cornwell and Stephen Pressfield. And by God, it's there. It's there. It's just more subtle, but it's there. And every once in a while, I would come across a phrase or a turn of phrase or a bit of dialogue that I would just be like, man, this guy, I was misjudging the writing. And I shouldn't have. And these characters, as they start to discuss, I actually found in this book, I was more enthralled with, rather than the battles and everything. I mean, every fantasy book has battles. Every historical fiction has battles. I mean, you can just read about battle after battle after battle. I actually liked when these characters were talking back and forth between each other quite a bit, even more so than in Bernard Cornwell or Stephen Pressfield, because they were just discussing topics that I found interesting. I liked what they were saying to each other. I just liked the way that Conn Iggulden handled that in this book and in this book. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna rate this about 8.5 out of 10. And we'll read this one soon. And I do have a whole bunch more Conn Iggulden books in my collection that we will be reading for the channel in the future.